Okay, so as all of you know, this is a webinar about the Masters in Environmental Studies. The reason that I have a slide here, even on the title, is that we have been very deliberate in choosing even the name of this course, right? The Environmental Studies is because of the focus we have on this being an immersive experiential program, and that's why it's a conservation practice course. There are a lot of courses that will give you the theory of conservation practice, that will teach you about how conservation is done about the field. But this course has been designed from the ground up as a very immersive course. We're going to have a lot of experiential learning, and that is why we deliberately chose this name over here. I'm just going to keep my phone in front of me so I keep track of time. Okay. So when we sat down to design this course, we said, okay, what is the vision for this course, right? And then we came up with a vision statement, which you see in front of you over here, which is essentially extending the mission that both the organizations have, ATREE and TDU. Both organizations have had a very rich history of interdisciplinary work and interdisciplinary research. And we would like to create the next, or create a cohort of the next generation that can actually take this interdisciplinary approach and then solve the problems, the current and future conservation problems that we have. And we have a couple of, maybe 2 more webinars that are coming up. And in those webinars, if you get the opportunity to attend it, I would strongly encourage you to attend it. You will actually get to hear from experts, both from the University of Trans-Disciplinary Health Science and Technology, TDU, and from ATREE faculty. You will get to hear how the research that they are doing, the work that they are doing, has really benefited from this interdisciplinary approach, how it opens up your way beyond something that seems like a problem that is hard to tackle. And what we have done is we have this designed in 4 different semesters. The first semester, if you can see at the bottom over here, it will be helpful for you to just follow that key through on the next slide. So we are accepting students from any background, whether you have an engineering background, you have a background in the sciences, whether you have a background in the arts. We are accepting students with a bachelor's from any background, from the health sciences. All backgrounds are welcome over here. And so what we then do is we begin with the foundation, and the foundation is designed to bring everybody to one common level, right? And then from there, we go on to the perspectives courses, and then on from the perspectives, where the perspectives courses teaches you different the lenses through which we can look at a given environmental problem, or at a given concern that we have in the environment space. Then we come to the domain knowledge courses, and then we come to the domain skills. What are the skills that you need to actually study this particular domain? And last, we have the courses on the electives. Okay, so just to this is the semester layout over here, but now get into a little bit more detail about the courses itself, right? So these are the 4 different foundation courses that we have. We have ecology, environmental sociology, environmental science, and environmental economics, right? So you can see 4 very different, very broad foundations that we have. And then we have a basic math course, because we know a lot, you know, there are likely to be many students who are coming into this course who probably may not have had math in their undergraduate degree. So just to make sure that you're ready with the skills that are necessary to understand these courses and the rest of the courses through the program. From there, we move to domain perspectives courses, which you can see over here: conservation issues and concerns, conservation policy and governance, ethics, political ecology, socio-ecological systems. Right? These are the different perspectives, the different lenses that you need to look at a problem through in order to understand diverse perspectives. And then from there, we come to the domain knowledge courses, and then on to the domain skills courses. What are the skills that you need in order to study these domains? And finally, to the electives, right? So this is a current listing of the courses that we have over here. There were some questions on a few questions on the fees. So just to give you a brief idea of the fees over here. we have the course fees and the lab and facility fees. Please note that the application fees that I indicated there are included within the course fee. So it's an all-inclusive figure of 3.5 lakhs in rupees. And then the figures for the other SAARC countries and other countries also provided for those who are interested. But one important note which you see over there is because of the pandemic and because of all the placed on many households, we at TDU and ATREE are very cognizant of that. And so we are providing an option for the first semester fees, which is about 81,000, about 82,000, to be split over 2 equal installments. And we can provide more detail on that for whoever needs, maybe slightly later in this call, or even via email, or via phone call too. I would encourage you, for any of you who have any questions, even after this call, please don't hesitate to pick up the phone and ask questions. We're happy to take any questions, happy to provide any information. This is a new course, and so we recognize that there's going to be a little bit of nervousness about applying for the course. But I want to assure you that we can take your questions and hopefully we can answer them adequately in order to give you that confidence. I have a few pictures here, some of the facilities that we have at TDU, and wanted to move on, even importantly, to draw your attention to, especially to these 2 pictures you see on the right-hand side of the screen, right? So these are 2 of ATREE's community-based conservation centers. We call them our CCCs. The one that you see on top is at in Tamil Nadu, southern Tamil Nadu, near the KMT, Kalakad Mundantharai Tiger Reserve, and the one below that is in the BRT Tiger Reserve. And the reason that I am here is again to draw emphasis to the point that we have come to learn, both at TDU and at ATREE, that everything that we learn and everything that we kind of can read about really comes to a sense of application. When you get to the field is when everything that you learn truly gets tested, truly gets seen in the light of how is it different in the field, right? And so we have currently planned this as in every semester, the first 3 semesters, the students will actually be going to the field, spending time in the field, and doing part of the courses in the field itself. And ATREE has a network of community-based conservation centers. We have other field sites. We have in Nilgiris. We have in Agnashini, which is in the Western Ghats, and we have other sites in Bihar and other sites in Gujarat. And so we are in the process of finalizing these sites. And TDU also has a network of medicinal plant conservation areas. So between these sites, students will be visiting one of these. We'll be visiting. I'm sorry, there'll be one visit at least in a semester, and that's what our current plans look like. Okay, so moving on. I wanted to take a step back, and a lot of you have expressed concern on what is the road ahead. This sounds like a great program. This sounds like it'll really equip me in terms of the knowledge it's providing, in terms of the skills that it's providing. But what's the road ahead? And so I put together this slide that we from ATREE's PhD program. Okay, now we have been running this PhD program for over 10 years now, and we have about 52 students, which you see over there on the slide. 52 students. They are clearly very good at their academic work, right? We've published a lot of papers in highly ranked journals internationally. Their work is very well recognized. But our students, it's not just, the recognition goes beyond the peer-reviewed literature field itself. They've actually won a number of national and international fellowships and awards. They've secured external funding. And you can see just a small subset of that. We have other students who have gotten additional funding after this, obviously, and they're still getting funding. And one of those students is here today. You'll get to hear from him in a little bit. And this just shows that when they are in their programs, our students, even when they're in their programs, they're very competitive. They're very competent, and they're very the work that they do, the learning that they have is well recognized outside, as is their research. But what happens after that, right? And I have, oops, I think the slide order is reversed over here. So let me just, I'll come back to this in a little bit. The slide should come on top. Okay, so what happens after that? Right? So we have our PhD alumni have since moved on. We have 31 students who have graduated from the program. And as you can see, they have gone on to join nationally and internationally recognized institutions and across a gamut. So we have everything from, our typical Ivy League colleges in the United States. Stanford is over here. We have another student who has just gone to University of Maryland, to even the emerging universities in India. Kriya University, Azim Premji has been around for some time. TDU also, some of our students have come here. Nalanda, one of our students was at Nalanda. And aside from academia, you can also see that there are other organizations over here, right? There's WWF, Wildlife Conservation Trust, the India Alliance, which is a philanthropic organization, NCPS, which is a research organization. So it's not that the students have, although these are PhD students, they have gone on to academia, to field organization, to research organization, to practitioners, to philanthropy. And the reason that I have this over here is to show you that we are in the process. We are in the process of looking at partners for our internships. We are in the process of looking for partners for career placement. But the PhD program should hopefully give you some confidence of showing that the kind of education and the kind of training that happens between the faculty at ATREE and TDU will put you in a very competent place and create a scholar and a person who emerges, who's really ready to then take this knowledge to the field, right? Which is why we call it a conservation practice, because we really want to equip you to a point where you can hit ground running, so to speak. Okay, I'm just going to back up briefly to the previous slide that I had. Just an overview of some of the faculty that we have at ATREE. You can see there's a vast diversity that we have across the interest groups, from biodiversity to social justice issues, governance issues in forestry ecosystems, to looking at matters of sustainability, urbanization, water-related issues, sociology, gender. It's across the whole domain that we have our expertise at ATREE. And the same theme continues even for the faculty that we have at TDU, who will be also teaching this course. I'm going to stop over there. Before I give it back to Karim, I want to introduce to you 4 people who are on this call, because we thought it would be best if you actually hear people who are from TDU and from ATREE. So we have 2 students from TDU who are alumni of this university, and we have 2 ATREE PhD students over here. And so we have over here with us Anirban Roy and Rinan Shah, and we have Samodatta, and we have Nishant Kurav. I'm going to start with probably maybe for want of any other logic, let's just go alphabetically. So maybe Anirban, if you want to take a few minutes to just talk about your experience at ATREE, and then we'll go over to Rinan, followed by Nishant, and then Samudaita. So over to you, Anirban. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, hi Milind, I can hear you. Thank you very much for giving me this chance to speak. So hi everybody, I am from 2019 batch. I joined PhD under Dr. Nirmalya Chatterjee, whose name you just saw on the display screen. So 2019 I joined, and it's very unfortunate that 2020 onwards the pandemic, and I really miss the vibrant conversations we had in the ATREE campus. But even though it's happening remotely, I will completely agree with Milind what he said about the wide gamut of experience that I got while my coursework as a PhD candidate has really helped me. I would like to stress on one point. being awarded with the Fulbright Fellowship and leaving for that in the month of October for 10 months, that the interdisciplinary experience, which we usually don't give much importance to, is actually very important in today's academia as well as research career. I myself, when sat for the interview with a really, really competitive group of people for my Fulbright Fellowship, I found the difference when I used the words of interdisciplinary and also kind of implemented that in my project proposal. So without any second thought, the research experience that I got, even though again virtually, was very, very helpful. And I agree that it might be a very novice course, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a great experience because people over here are really, really helpful and you are going to learn a lot. And yeah, uh, apart from PhD, you have multiple options as Milind has shown. But definitely, doctorate before your name is very rewarding. So you think of it. I think that's all I could say. It's a great place to work. It's a great place to study. TDU is also an excellent place. So yeah, welcome aboard and good luck to all of you.
Yeah, thanks, Anirban. Sorry, I was muted over there. Rinan, are you over there? Are you online?
Yes, I am online,
Hi,
but
hi.
I my video is not working. It has, I don't know, that's Windows updates for you, I think. So, first of all, I would like to say congratulations to Anirban because for his Fulbright fellowship. I mean, obviously, it is really competitive and all that. Yeah. So I also saw I'm a PhD student from the 2015 batch. So yeah, it has been a long time coming. I hope I'll finish it by this year. And so this was the first time that we also went through the course structure, right? So
Mhm.
and then looking at it, it was like, oh, we did all this during our first year of PhD. So it's like, you all are already going to be like two steps ahead when because this was something which we learned after our masters, right? So you all will be leveling the field ground and taking it back and getting more competent in the next 2 years. So I think that was a very interesting observation. And regarding the basic courses, yeah, I think everybody needs to do everything. And the most important part is also to be open to learning. And yeah, I think, yeah, that is one thing. I come from an engineering background, and then I have done my master's in climate change, and then followed by the interdisciplinary PhD at ATREE. So when I was applying, looking for places to apply for to do my PhD, I was like, I don't think so any other place in India would like suit my kind of work. One would be wherever I was already doing my master's, or it could be ATREE. And thankfully, I got through both. So yeah, and yeah, it has been a very enriching experience. And I feel that every new subject you take, it opens up your eyes to new things. Because I had never done ecology, I had never done environmental science before coming to PhD. And then doing it here not only broadened my knowledge, but also broadened my way of viewing things, right? So that also helped a lot. And we were, I think, one of the luckiest batches that got to stay within the KMTR forests for 10 days during our field ecology course, which was nothing short of fantastic, because there was no social media, there was no internet, there was no phones even. But it was a very enriching experience for us. And we have done a lot of field work even during the 1 year of PhD that we did through the different methods courses, be it social methods course, be it environmental methods course, or ecology methods courses. And we have had the freedom of discussing what we want to do our research on. And yeah, the discussions have been, yeah, initially it is scary to meet people that you always have seen around, but it did get better, but it gets better with time. And another thing also, what gives us confidence is that, when we are from a certain field, so this was famously said by one of our faculty in at ATREE itself, that you cannot critique a subject, or you cannot hate a subject without knowing the subject first, right? So even if you already hate economics, for example, like me, but you cannot critique it without knowing the subject. So I think that way also you get to know of a lot of things, so you can decide whether you want to hate it or like it, or just ignore it. Yeah, I think that's it, and hope to see some of y'all here. Thanks.
Thank you, Renan. Okay, so over to Nishant, I think. Nishant, maybe you want to go right now?
Yeah, thank you. Hope you can hear me. Yeah. So thank you for having me here. My name is Nishant Gurav. I did my M.Sc at TDU from 2017 to 2019. And first of all, a big thumbs up to all of you. Congratulations, you're on the right path because you found the treasure amongst the entire list of zillions of courses that exist in the field of environmental sciences. The reason I say that is because we had a very rich experience during our M.Sc. Like the term conservation practice of your course rightly talks about your course, that it's going to be a very practical guideline towards the field of conservation. Now, when I say practical, it means that you are going to be involved with a lot of relevant stakeholders that are a very, very critical part of conservation science or sustainability or environmental science sector in India and across the world. And these stakeholders can include forest departments, local communities, NGOs, private sectors, industries. So all these people are going to be interacting with you, and they're going to be giving their perspective as well. And one important thing that this course provides is a transdisciplinary approach. There's a thin line of difference between interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary, where you get to explore different knowledge systems through you get to explore different subjects through different knowledge systems through most of the environmental science courses today follow the Western narrative of that defines the environment, but this course will also enable you to look at environment from an Indic perspective, or from various other knowledge systems. In terms of subjects, you might be surprised that we were taught about not just restoration ecology, wildlife biology, but also art and conservation. How do artists think about conservation? So that's the level of transdisciplinary nature that I'm talking about. You see, environmental science is a very versatile subject. You cannot exclude environmental science from any sector in the world, because ultimately it comes under the roof of this beautiful world that we live in. So every sector has some or the other environmental linkages, and you will be introduced to that by going by interacting with local communities and doing a lot of that. And I would like to conclude by saying that it is these experiences of mine with local communities and various stakeholders that I was selected for all those who want to also ensure that there's a way ahead, and you can plan your career. I was selected for the PhD in Europe, and one of the critical points that they asked me was my experience or ground level experience with communities, with researchers, that is impact driven research, what we call in environmental science, which is very, very important. So in a gist, that's all I can summarize, but there is more, and if anybody would like to know more, they can always email me. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Nishant. Samudyata?
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I also did my master's program from TDU, and I'm really happy to be talking about the course because it has been a really enriching experience for me throughout the master's course. Being from an environmental science background, it was a sort of a natural step for me to go into an M.Sc program. But when I started researching about the institutes, TDU was one striking place that not only had your traditional courses and people to interact with. We have learned from GIS till from governance to ecosystem based management to bio entrepreneurship, economics. So we have had a very wide array of choices to learn from. We have also done 2-3 courses from ATREE itself, which was a great place for us to interact with field experts. Professor Lele, we did governance course from him, and we did scientific writing. So this course sort of prepares you for any line that you may choose to go for. It has been PDU has not been a traditional college for us. It has been a very open place for us to think about our and talk about our ideas. I mean, I don't think many institutes now will push you to probably the forest department and ask you to present something on the spot. And PDU did that and helped us build confidence. We have been exposed to wide variety of stakeholders, not just government officials or field experts, but also smaller institutes, local people. We've also visited BRT station of ATREE. We have visited MPCNs that PDU runs. So this has been a really good exposure for us, and I hope that the same will continue through this collaboration of TDU and ATREE. Because from my master's course, I was introduced to various institutes, and I'm currently working with my professor from Azim Premji University. So we have done 2-3 projects, and it has allowed me to apply whatever I have learned in TDU. Even in my master's dissertation, I was able to apply sort of mixed methods where I could concentrate equally on both qualitative and quantitative aspects of the study. So it is really nice to see that you can practically apply what you have studied, and it just doesn't go or end at your assignments and your grades. So TDO has allowed me to build confidence to pick up any subject, and I have the confidence that I will be able to do something with it. And right now I've completed 2-3 projects from Azim Premji University, and I'm authoring a few papers and also assisting for a book chapter. So this could not have been possible without the exposure that I've had through the course. So I'm really happy to be talking here, and I wish everyone all the very best for the course. Thank you.
Thank you, Samantha. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen for now. Okay, and yeah, let's, I think Dr. Kareem is also online. Dr. Kareem, are we over to you? Maybe if you want to take questions now. Or...
Yeah, Milind, there is one question. They're saying that course is more of wildlife sciences study or environmental science. One of the questions just come in, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, apologies. I didn't know I had a screen on top of a screen till somebody alerted me to that. I thought I was the only one seeing that. So sorry if I blurred out the background for some of you. Okay. Yeah, it is not a wildlife. So let me answer it this way. It's not a wildlife sciences study course. And it's not even in, the reason, that's one of the reasons that we decided not to call it an environmental science course, and we call it an environmental studies course, is because it is not as heavy on techniques. It's more about, if you remember the coursework that I showed earlier, right? We have the 4 different foundation courses. Then we go to the perspectives, right? So the perspective courses are all about debates, which is what are the current debates that are happening in the environment? And importantly, what are the different lenses that people can look at these different debates in? For example, if you have a problem, if we're talking about the issue of forest fires, right? And you've read about the forest fires, right? You've read about forest fires. Bandipur burns every once in a while. You probably heard about it on the news. And the instinctive reaction we have as city dwellers is, oh no, the fire's burning, we're losing all our forest areas, and something needs to be done about it. But if you look at the different perspectives, if you look at the perspective of the forest manager, if you look at the perspective of what a researcher is actually saying, if you look at the perspective of a community, if you look at the perspective of the ecosystem, all those different perspectives will tell you different things. And actually, you may then arrive at a more balanced and a nuanced understanding of forest fires, place-based, area-based insights. What does it mean for a forest fire? Why is a forest fire okay in some areas, and why is a forest fire really destructive in some areas, right? All that comes with an understanding of these different perspectives, and a perspectives course you are unlikely to find in an environmental science course, which is why we've explicitly called it an environmental studies course. Okay, so I hope who was on question, I hope Anurag, I will say environmental science, but I must probably stress on the fact that how is that different from just the theory of conservation?
Yeah. The second question for Harshit is asked Mishra. Yes, I'll take that question. Yes, we are in this course, ethno, but at the same time is that we are touching phylogenetics, it is there, but I think it may not be there. I think that we have not touched, but all others is completely community basic, as Nishant was saying. If you see now, after his course, now he's completely involved in the case of PBR documentation for 2 states completely. One for Chhattisgarh, another one is completely for Karnataka. And because of the background that he had on citizen science, the background that he had on community documentation, the background that we taught on ethnobiology documentation process and community linkage, he's able to take that very nicely, and he's leading that project. 2 projects he's leading on. So yes, this has been really will be a part of that course on that. And you wanted to know about the course experts' views on the respect of health to understand if this course is for me, and how can I benefit from this course. Yes, as Nishant was mentioning in his talk, how it is really helping on the different user groups that you want to take. In the case of ethnobiology or community, if you want to take on, you can become a citizen science experts, and citizens, how do you communicate this information to the citizen can be one of the topic in which you can enter into it and bring community's knowledge out to the citizens part. Yes, this course will really lead to that, and you can see one live example which is happening on that. Second, you asking also, you wanted to know about the interview will be. Yes, roughly what is expected from the perspective of students. Do you want to answer this, Milind? The second point is asking that how the interview will be that.
Yeah. So as of now, currently we are looking at a model of looking at the statement of purpose and the entrance examination, and the interviews we had put in there as a possibility depending on the number of applications. And it looks like, given the number of applications we're getting, that we may have to stick to the model of the entrance exam and the statement of purpose. Now, a lot of you may be unfamiliar with writing a statement of purpose. What does that actually involve? So we've actually given some tips and some questions on how you can write a competitive statement of purpose, right? There are some questions that we kind of guide you to and say, if your statement of purpose answers these questions, then it's a well-written statement of purpose, in the sense we understand where you are coming from, what is your interest in this course, what are you hoping to get out of it, and that's what helps us identify the students, match them well to a course that is really that they would really kind of benefit and gain from. So we had the reason we had put interviews over there is, at that time it would depend on the number of applicants, but it looks like based on the number of applications we're getting, we won't be doing interviews. We'll just be doing the entrance examination and the statement of purpose. Now, there was another question from somebody who asked about the entrance examination itself.
Yeah, same thing. Next question. Aniri is asking whether she's an economics student behind, and whether will be able to undergo this.
Yeah. So we have what we the entrance examination is going to have 4 different sections, and what we're expecting is kind of post bachelor's level understanding, and we recognize that you're not going to have all, this necessarily the strengths across all 4 of those. But I think the 4 different sections are: there's a quantitative and analytical section. There's one on conservation and sustainability. There's one on, let me see, I think I have that up over here on my other screen. Yes, we have economy, policy and society. You may find easier to, I think that should be right up your alley. And then ecology, environmental science, and social science, right? So just to give you a feel, these are post-bachelor's levels what we're going to lay these questions at. We're not, and we have a model, we have a couple of model exams on there for you to get a sense of what the questions are going to look like. So just to give you a simple example, there may be a graph and we'll ask you to interpret the graph, right? What is the graph? Okay, what can you tell us from the graph? And for you, within the choices of A, B, C, D, you'll have to pick, okay, this is what the graph is telling me. So that's just to give you a flavor of kind of the questions that, one example of a question that we'd be asking.
Yeah, and next I'll attend. And see, how is it different from the existing course with Samudita and Nishant was mentioning? Yeah, let me tell you the history behind. See, the first time when we started, we are more ambitious with so many things putting into it. We'll add this, we'll add that. All it was like a course which really we did. Now, by looking, practically we implemented that. And the first batch, which is Samudita and Nishant, came out of that. And on the process, we have seen what is really that needs to be done. And then we partnered with ATREE. And then we said that, look, this is exactly what we can need to remove certain papers, add on certain papers, the concept that needs to be slightly changed on, and little additions to be made. All that we did a homework with ATREE and TDU jointly did that. And then this is a evolved course of with the experience that we had from the previous experience that we have. Little changes that we have made. Not much big difference, but yes, there's a change on the entire on the structures of the course, on the few papers that have been replaced with the other new papers which has been included. Course structure, curriculum were a little defined and redefined. We had several rounds of meetings on saying that how with experts saying that how we can really add on. Yeah, there are certain changes and feedback. We got the feedback from students, from the teachers who have teaching them, and from the people, from the experts and the BOS, the Board of Studies. We presented to the Board of Studies. There were different opinions on the Board of Studies. We got their suggestions, removed certain things, and it has been well thought over. And ATREE and TDU thought over well, along with the BOS. Our BOS members, we could see, are experts from different part of the country. And they have gone through the entire structure word by word and given the suggestions, and we have improved and we have come out with a nice structure. Yeah.
So Kareem, I'm just going to take this next question here. Alokta Banerjee asked a question on, can I expect a quantitative bent from the program, right? So we have a coursework on quantitative methods. We have another course on RSGS, which I believe is one of the is a really important skill to have in this day and age. We have another course that we're thinking through on analytics, right? So there is definitely coursework on quantitative methods and even emerging methods that are there, right? Not across the different emerging methods that are there. But what I also wanted to stress is, that there are other courses that you may not find in other places. For example, we have a communication course, right? And I want to use my own example for that. Is I was working, I also have some research. I was working on one of the research projects. I found, we have our different, whatever you've learned from, whatever outcomes you've got from a research. And we were working with other collaborators, and the other collaborator was really good at communicating. And because the other collaborator was so good at communicating, we were stakeholders who really report, but if the department is not interested in looking, they're just going to take it and they're going to put it away on the shelf. But it takes communication to change that into an output that a forest department person will look at and then say, oh, I see what you're saying. He doesn't have the time to read my 40-page report, but this one summarizes it and gives it to in a form that he can immediately digest, right? So quantitative skills are important, but there's also emphasis on qualitative skills, right? What is it? How do you conduct ethical research? How do you interact with communities? Those are also skills that we have deliberately placed into the course that we really think is going to help create a cohort of very well-rounded students. So I hope that answers your question, Alok.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a question from Shubh Anam, and I think I'll answer that one too. I think maybe Shubh, I don't know if you came in late or missed that somehow. So when I was giving the talking about the ATREE PhD students, one of the points that I made over there is that we have PhD students who have gone on to universities, right? So they've done a PhD and they've gone, academia, Stanford University, Sheffield University, Azim Premji, Kriya. But then we also have PhD students who finished their PhD and said, hey, you know what? I don't want to be a professor. I want to actually put my knowledge into the field. And so we have students like Dhitiman who have gone to Durrell to actually work in the field. We have Nachiket Kelkar who has now gone to Wildlife Conservation Trust, right? So to bring that back to the MSc program, the analogy that I'm trying to draw is the reason that we came up with the MSc program is precisely this. We know that not everybody is interested in doing a PhD in the first place. Some people want to apply conservation. Some people actually want to go straight into the field and work in, what are the conservation and sustainability issues in our farms? What are the conservation and sustainability issues in our cities? What are those issues in our forests, right? And that's what this course is geared to teach you about, geared to provide you the skills to look at. So that you then, so that if you want to do a PhD after that, well and good. But if you feel like, what, I'm ready, I want to go and I want to work with a corporate organization, the sustainability arm of the corporate organization, or I want to, go work in one of the line departments of the government, that you would have the skill sets and then go into that field. Not everybody's interested in doing a PhD. Not everybody should do a PhD also. So PhD is just one of the tracks. There's multiple tracks, and we are in the process of figuring out partnerships with others to see, what are internship opportunities, what are our placement opportunities. But the reason that I put in that whole slide for the PhD is to say is we have a track record of our students going to diverse places, and we're expecting the same thing is going to happen from our master's students, where they will go into an even greater diversity of organizations and institutions.
Yeah, one more question, which I think it says that can it help to build the skills to be more profound work at grassroots level? Yes, you're right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I couldn't have put it better. In fact, that's one thing that on the board of studies, we have a couple of very senior people from some of these NGOs that work at the grassroots level, and they have, they are constantly watching over the design of the syllabus to make sure that we stick to our commitment of this being an experiential, immersive, where you go to the field and you spend time in the field and you get to interact with communities and understand it from their perspective, and not from the perspective of somebody who lives in Bangalore and goes there, spends 2 nights and then comes back, as opposed to somebody who lives in that landscape. Right. So yes, to answer your question, very much so. Yes.
And to the track record of ATREE and TDU, you could see is the strength is on the grassroots. That's the strength we both have developed and grown today in that case. Yeah, correct. Is there an opportunity through campus interview or placement after the course? That I think you answered, Melinda, I think, no?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Being more of community interactive course, what are the languages expectation? Let me see that the course will be on English, and the field that you're going to go ahead will be on, we have, as Milind was mentioning, the areas which ATREE already had certain field areas and TDU has certain field areas. But still, if you feel that in the language which you are good in, you want a very good structure is available there, where you want to carry out the field study with the topic that you're going to design by your supervisor, and then you can do that with your own language. So language is not a big bar for any of the research. And even if you're not having, if your subject is good and you want, there's a separate language, I mean, the language is, you don't know about that language, There are translators who are there initially who can translate, and slowly you learn the language and you continue your research. I don't think language will be a barrier at all. What, Milind, what do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I think, I mean, if we also, both ATREE and TDU actively follow an affirmative action policy where we encourage applications from diverse backgrounds, from backgrounds where it may not be such a background. And so we do have medium English. And because of that, one of the first things that we have a English course that we are offering. If it is there, have a basic level of competency to be able to understand the course. So that's just from a course instruction point of view. But in terms of the field, you know, it really, then of course, like he was like that the language would BRT, then it's a different language. I don't really see language as a barrier to not just taking the course, but even going to the field, interacting with people. There will be there will be enough opportunity to understand and to you know, have translators over there also locally. Are there scholarships available? I'll take this one. Not at the moment. We do not have any scholarships available right now. But recognizing, as I was saying, recognizing that this is a pandemic year and all the challenges it has placed on families, TDU is providing an option of the first semester's fee being broken into installments so that it becomes easier on families to and individuals to pay the fees for the course. And we're still exploring options of seeing what are the, you know, are there any other financing options. We're still looking at that. If we have anything, we will add that to the website, both through TDU and ATREE's website, and that those details will be online too.
Yeah, but nevertheless, they can also apply for the existing, scholarships by the government, by the non-government, by the other funding agencies which are there. Generally, for all who can apply online and get the things which are existing. Put on our website the different links which government also you can try, and we'll give whatever letter from our side, both ATREE and TDU, we can give the letters required. You can apply online on that. Yeah. And the classes are online basis classes or offline classes?
I'll take that one, Mary. So Mary, the simple answer is the first semester is, so this is not an online course. This is a very much a live course. You need to attend, and you can't to give it simply to you. You have to smell it, you have to see it, you have to really have that. It is a contact-based program, but because of the pandemic, the first semester is going to be conducted, the classes are going to be conducted online, and we're going to keep evaluating and seeing if things are going okay. Then we should be able to open this out maybe even later in the semester, but for now we are planning it as an online only for the first semester.
Yeah, see, actually media and communication background, I will tell you one good example of one of the students joined with us with the media and communication background, and see the interest that he had on the case of conservation was so good that he went to a depth of identifying the similar type of animals, camouflage animals now, the photography and the communication. He was so depth in his research, he was able to identify and take work on that particular thing and come out with lot of difference that he could find out in the camouflage animals. So yes, this course will, are encouraging the communication and media people also to do that. But entrance examination, yeah, Milind, you want to add something? He's asking whether it will be a hurdle for the entrance examination if they are from media and communication.
No, I don't think so. I mean, and that's one of the reasons that we gave those two model exams over there for you to get a sense of what the questions are going to look like. Now, be advised that the questions are actually going to be a little easier than that also, because we, like I said, we're posting this at a bachelor's level I would say even an advanced high school to a post-bachelor's level for those four different fields. So with enough interest, I'm reasonably confident that you should be able to tackle this examination without too much difficulty. I don't think it should be too much of an effort.
Yeah, I agree, Vamsi, that opportunities in environment, sustainability, and governance is there. Correct. We agree that. And next is, can we get a sample SOP? May not be from past students, but a high level of that, what it should look like.
So let me, if I can take that, Kareem, and please feel free to jump in after that. So Aditya, here's my take on that is, if you Google an SOP, you will get SOP. There will be, believe me, there will be like 50 different ways of writing an SOP. But that's one reason why both at ATREE and TDU, we felt we needed to put a little bit of detail on what we are looking for in your SOP. So I would really strongly encourage you to look at the M.Sc program website and look at I have it on my screen over here, so I want to make sure I give you the right one, the admissions tab. And there are certain questions that we ask, and we say, answer these questions. The minute you start answering these questions, you will come up to an SOP that is really for. So you can Google an SOP and you'll be easily able to get it. But I would strongly encourage you to look at this and see and look at what we are looking for, so that you get an SOP which answers the kind of information that we are looking for, or that provides that kind of information. Regarding the application deadline is the 30th. Likely to be most likely to extend that by a little bit. So, and I think pretty maybe tomorrow there'll be some details on that, on what the revised application is. I would strongly encourage you to apply sooner rather than later. Just that I think it's better to get your application in soon, before class really starts filling out, and then there are other considerations to keep in mind. So yeah, so I hope that answers your question, Hrithik. Prevalence of COVID affecting fieldwork opportunities. Not at the moment, no, because if there is fieldwork being conducted for the first semester, it's going to happen to the tail end of the first semester, which we're expecting to be, the semester will start on October. So we're expecting the semester to end somewhere around February. So fieldwork would be towards the end of January, once we are, and hopefully, God willing, things should be even better than it is today. So we're not expecting it to influence COVID to influence the fieldwork opportunities.
The existing scholarships which you're asking, we are preparing a list of scholarships that you can, which government and non-government are doing that. We'll send you the link. Maybe you can look on that, and whichever is fitting as per your thing, you can apply on. We'll provide that link to you. Yeah. What is the age limit for applying to the course?
We have no age limit to applying to the course. Simple answer. So go ahead and apply. As long as you would like to learn, we are happy to have you for the course.
Yeah, I'm interested in sustainability and conservation issues in the urban context, as well as ecological economics. Will the program be good
yes.
fit? Yes.
Yes, I absolutely think so. It's not just a conservation and sustainability of, like I said, it's not just conservation and sustainability of forests, it's conservation and sustainability in farms, it's conservation and sustainability in cities. If you look at, all you have to do is look at the expertise of the ATREE and TDU faculty, and you will see that the questions that we answer are not related to forested ecosystems only, but even looking at these other, other contexts, the urban context, agricultural context, and that's where the instruction also is deeply rooted in. Questions from Prezi Shweta. Where can I find model questions? I'm just going to put the link over here. That should help. Oh, I think I sent that only to one person. Okay, changing that now. Okay, so that's the link to the model questions.
Self-attested copy of academic transcripts is needed for application. Please clarify on that. Yes, we require in the Xerox, you need to sign yourself and then send it. Yes, we require that. We'll cover urban biodiversity and urban forestry. Yes, actually, Milan just now explained about that very clearly. And yeah, I think that are the questions. Anyone online would like to ask any questions? Please feel open and try to. You can come online and.
Okay, couple more questions. Just a yes, I think maybe Dr. Karim, do you want to answer that one from Harshit again? That they need to sign on the copy of the.
I'm a fashion designer and I'm interested in fashion for conservation.
Oh, sorry, yes. the one on top. There's one from Harshit Mishra. Do we need to sign on the copy of the transcript? Do you want to answer?
Yes,
that
yes, that's what I told. No, we had to sign on the transcript. That's self-attestation is required. Yeah. I am a fashion designer and I am interested in fashion for conservation. I don't have theoretical knowledge of a subject, but I'm open to learn. It will help me in the bigger purpose. Do you think that there's opportunity to fashion for environment?
So let me get that one. I think what Nishant said, really comes to mind, when he talked about transdisciplinarity, right? So transdisciplinarity is, there's interdisciplinarity and there's transdisciplinarity, right? And that's, I kind of see your question headed more towards transdisciplinarity. But even if you're a fashion designer, right, where are you sourcing I'll ask you a simple question. Where are you sourcing your fabrics from? What is the sustainability of those fabrics that you're getting? What kind of farms is it being grown in? How are the communities in those communities in those farms? What are the different issues that they have? So I'm trying to say, even something like fashion designing I'm sure it can easily take on a lens of sustainability, and that's where a course like this can help answer, get you to understand where does that come from, what are the implications in simple things, what are the water resources that are needed to grow these kind of crops, what are the trade-offs that has with human water use, what are the trade-offs that it has with ecosystem water use, right? How does that trade off with the apportioning a farm for food versus fibers versus something else? So I'm not a fashion expert, but this is just like my first response to you is, I think there are very few questions, like Nishant said, that cannot take on an environment and sustainability lens, for looking at it, especially in the current world.
Yeah, I could add also, Milan, that see, I was mentioning about the student of design who came and joined us. He is trying to do his thesis on exactly how design can help in conservation. If he wants to communicate this to the real group, he uses the principles of the entire designing structures, whatever we have learned, and see that how really conservation can improve towards it. So that can be also, when you learn all these things on the process on that, you can apply your fashion designing technology, whatever you have learned, and see that how really we can communicate this to the different user group. That can also be one of which is very, very important. Then we know about plants, animals, but the communication skill of this to a user group of different user group, we are not so good on. But people like you who can come out and learn and see that you're communicating to the world the entire issues of conservation, sustainability, the thing. You can look on that angle also. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of questions again on the transcripts before we, and I'll give that to you, Dr. Karim. But before that, I just want to go back to Varsha's question. She's asked a follow-up question here about just more a comment about how sustainability has become a trend. And I think you've really hit the nail on the head, right? What is a fad and what is a cool term versus really understanding what is behind that, right? What does it mean to be sustainable? What are the different challenges to that? That's a different level altogether. And this is where I think something like a course like this can really equip you to understand that, and then that places you at a different level than somebody who is just understanding sustainability as a term and the different things that come with it. So I don't know if that answers, if that helps you, Varsha, in your decision. But I think you've hit the nail on the head. If you don't want it to be a trend and you want to really understand it, then yes, this would be a good course for you.
Yeah, regarding the transcript signing, no issues. You can sign later. That's not a big issue. You can send if you have not signed and send. It's okay. Later you can sign. If you want to send now, you can sign and send. That's not a big issue. Nothing to worry about.
Excuse me, sir. This is Harshit. Sorry to pardon. So I am an undergraduate student who is waiting for the SEM 5 and SEM 6 marks memos.
Okay.
So the first 4 semester marks memos are there, not the transcripts. So those marks memos, copies can I take and sign and upload?
Yeah, you can put that, and later when it comes, you can submit it. No issues.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, question here. I saw a question from
One
Kushi
want to,
Goyal.
Kushi Goyal.
I just want to get Kushi's question.
Yeah.
So Kushi says she's interested in sustainable entrepreneurship and climate change communication. Yes, definitely. We are, the one that immediately comes to my mind is, we've been thinking about some of the electives that we're really kind of looking towards the horizon over here and seeing, what are the emerging issues. And we've even told all the faculty as they're designing the courses, look at the background of what is the looking back, what is the history of a particular subject, where does it stand currently, and even what is on the horizon, what are things that are coming up, you need and incorporate those within your course itself. And we have electives that we've been planning on even on project management, right? How do you raise finance, those kind of things? How do you manage a project? How do you what are the different aspects that come in regard to that? I don't think we have that on the website, that detail over here. I don't think it's over there, but yes, no, we do adaptive learning, advocacy, and then project cycle management. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. So there are those, those kind of things that would help, help develop a sustainable entrepreneur out of you. Just to give you a quick insight, we've been teaching the Naropa Fellows in Ladakh. Last couple of years, we've gone over there. And a lot of the skills that we teach, some of the domain skills, are of direct use to them to establish, potential ecotourism ventures or things like that. So there are things that may not, that you may not on the face of it think would be immediately useful. But as you attend the course, you'll may suddenly have a bright spark and say, hey, I know how I can use this. I know how I can apply it. So I personally think that the course like this would, definitely be good for you for your interest in sustainable entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And even has developed several plans, and you will also be learning that case studies how we have done.
Pragati's question is: an internship available for students who are already pursuing MSc? I'm sorry, but I don't think we will be offering that option right now. Maybe we can, we can consider that at a later date. Dr. Karim, unless you have something else on that, I don't think right now we're offering internships.
No, right now we don't
outside.
offer. Yeah, outside. Yeah. And does this course cover prevailing conservation and environmental laws?
Yes, I definitely, Kirtana. We have a course on environmental law, and there will be a lot of discussion and debate on those laws, the framings of those laws, how that impacts people. ATREE has a new center, the Center for Policy Design, and one of the reasons that we have that center is because there are issues in the way policy can be designed itself, and sometimes designing a policy or designing the way to draft a policy itself needs some thinking through. And a lot of the courses, the courses that we have will be talking about conservation and environmental laws. The faculty are well equipped to talk about these issues and talk about all the different perspectives and the different challenges, the impacted communities. So simple answer, yes.
Any other questions? Or you want to come online and ask certain questions?
Yeah, thank you everybody for your questions. It's helped us really kind of provide more detail, and it's I think I hope the information has been helpful in helping you make a decision. and we're especially excited. We've got a lot of we've got some interesting applications, and we're looking for more interesting applications. So looking forward to seeing that. Dr. Karim, any closing thoughts?
No, I think, yeah, I'm also expecting them to apply and be with us, and you will really enjoy. This not as Samudita we see in her class. I think she was mentioning that you will not feel exactly it is like a university class, things like that. It will be completely a different method of looking things. Like I would just want to cite one small example. We made our students to make their presentation of their project to the Principal Chief Conservator of Forest of Karnataka. And the moment when they presented, it was a big room with this and all. And you asked this, both of them, it's Nishant and Samudita, they started crying because the questions that they asked with the help of the students was really something which shocking to them on the practical aspects of what exactly they have learned. And that started them to learn exactly, unlearn or learn, and then started discussing, talking, what is this? How do we take this? That sort of learning structure, that confidence that she said rightly, is something which you can learn from this course. It's not only a theoretical part which you're going to it. You can face the different user groups of the toughest group, the forest department. It's not so easy to handle forest department. It's very tough if you want to convince them. So even that was being put forward in such a way that you try to ask them, negotiate them, talk to them. That sort of interesting thing you can come out with this course. Yeah. Some more questions are there.
I think that's it. We've
That's it.
attendees have been very kind in thanking us. So
Okay. Okay.
a lot of comments on that. Okay, we
So
have
we'll
one
see them
question.
soon.
Hang on, we have one more question. Full day engagement or half day? It'll be full day. It's we have a lot of courses. In order to teach you everything that we've committed to teach you, it's going to take a full day. So the engagement is going to be pretty close to a full day, if not a full day for all those days. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it.
So thank you, everybody. It's been great having so many people on over here, and you've kept the session very, very lively with all your questions. And I hope all the information has been helpful. And we're excited for offering this course, and hopefully we shall see a lot of you in the classroom soon. Stay safe. Please get vaccinated if you haven't, and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all attending this. Yeah. Bye-bye.
This lady who asked the fashion